Imagine waking up tomorrow to like a profoundly terrifying reality.
Oh, we're starting dark today.
Yeah, just bear with me. So you wake up and you find out that the physical locks on every single door in your house, your office building, even the vault down at your local bank are suddenly, well, entirely obsolete.
Right. Just totally useless.
Exactly, because someone, somewhere, has invented this master key that just works on all of them effortlessly.
Wow.
But here is the catch. The world's top locksmiths, they know this master key exists, yet instead of warning the public, they are engaged in this frantic, highly secretive race behind closed doors.
Trying to invent entirely new kinds of locks.
Right, they're trying to invent new locks before the burglars of the world figure out how to copy that key.
And you're just sitting in your living room, completely unaware that your front door is, for all practical intents and purposes, wide open.
Yeah.
Which is an unsettling image, but that's basically the exact reality of the digital landscape we are looking at right now.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because normally in the tech world, the mantra is, move fast and break things.
Build it, hype it to the moon, and ship it.
Yeah, you push it out to the consumer to beat your competitors. But today, we are looking at a stack of fresh reporting. This is updated just this week in early April 2026. About a brand new artificial intelligence model from Anthropic called Mythos.
Right.
And Anthropic has built something so powerful and frankly so dangerous that they are actively choosing not to release it.
Well, it's incredibly rare.
I mean, they are terrified of their own creation. So our mission for you today in this deep dive is to understand this silent, high-stakes cyber arms race and really why the era of human speed hacking is officially over.
What's fascinating here is that it's a staggering departure from the norm.
Yeah.
I mean, in artificial intelligence, development usually moves at this dizzying speed.
Right. There's a new benchmark every week.
Exactly. But this story is uniquely about a massive, heavily funded company deliberately hitting the brakes.
Yeah.
They looked at what Claude Mythos Preview, which is the official name of the tool.
Right, Mythos Preview.
They looked at what it was capable of and decided the only responsible action was a defensive embargo. And understanding why they initiated that pause is so crucial for everyone listening because, this isn't some abstract computer science problem.
Yeah, not at all.
It directly impacts the foundation of the digital infrastructure you rely on for, your banking, your healthcare, your personal communications.
Everything. So to understand the panic inside Anthropic, we really need to look at the actual mechanics of what Mythos is doing.
Right.
The reporting from CNN describes an AI agent that scans for software vulnerabilities and exploits them at a scale that just kind of defies human comprehension.
It really does.
And I want to make sure we don't just talk about this like it's a magic wand, right? How is an AI actually doing this differently than a human hacker?
Well, that is the perfect place to start because the distinction is entirely in the mechanism. Like when a human cybersecurity researcher is looking for a vulnerability, what we call a 0 day.
Meaning a flaw that literally no one knows about yet.
Exactly. 0 days since it was discovered. So they have to build this massive mental model of how a piece of software works.
Right.
They spend months, literally months, poring over millions of lines of code, manually tracing how data flows from one point to another.
Just looking for a place where the logic breaks down.
Yeah. And they use a technique called fuzzing, where they feed unexpected or just random data into the software to see if they can make it crash.
Oh, okay.
But human fuzzing is largely trial and error. It's incredibly tedious.
So it's essentially like a team of detectives taking months to carefully inspect every single piece of straw in a massive haystack.
Yeah.
Just hoping to find a needle.
That's exactly what it is. But, large language models, at their core, they are pattern recognition engines.
Yeah.
And computer code is just a highly structured language.
Right, of course.
So Mythos doesn't need to manually read the code line by line to build a mental model. It has essentially ingested the syntax and architecture of nearly all open source code in existence.
Wow.
So when it looks at a new piece of software, it recognizes structural anomalies instantly. It anticipates where the logic will fail because it's seen like millions of similar logic structures before.
Wait. So instead of reading the code like a book, taking months to trace the plot,
Yeah.
the AI is acting more like an omniscient building inspector.
Oh, I like that analogy.
Like someone who has memorized the architectural blueprints of literally every house ever built. So when they look at a new wall, they can instantly simulate a million different ways to apply physical pressure.
Right.
Until they find the exact spot where, a structural screw is missing. But doesn't that mean we've essentially automated the hardest part of being a cyber criminal?
It does. And that building inspector analogy is a phenomenal way to visualize it. It simulates the pressure points conceptually, rather than just blindly throwing data at the wall like human fuzzing does.
Which is terrifying.
And the results of that capability are just staggering. I mean, Anthropic claims, and CNN noted this is self-reported data, but they claim Mythos has found thousands of previously unknown software vulnerabilities
Wait,
in just a few weeks.
thousands?
Thousands.
In a few weeks. I mean, that number honestly stops me in my tracks.
This is absurd.
Because from what I understand about the cybersecurity black market, a single usable zero-day vulnerability can be sold to a spy agency or like a cyber criminal syndicate for millions of dollars.
Easily, yeah. They are the holy grail of hacking.
Because they allow for entirely stealthy, undetectable infiltration.
Right, they are the ultimate skeleton keys.
Yeah.
And Anthropic just built a machine that spits them out by the thousand.
Wow.
This is a complete sea change. We have automated the bottleneck of cyber warfare. Historically, the limiting factor for hackers has always been cognitive load and time.
Right, finding the needle takes time.
Exactly. And by removing those human constraints, Mythos fundamentally alters the physics of network security.
Which naturally leads to the elephant in the room. I mean, if you are Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei and your team just turned on a machine that prints untraceable skeleton keys to the entire internet.
What do you do?
Right. What do you do? And their strategy right now is a total public embargo.
Yeah, they locked it down.
Logan Graham, who heads Anthropic's AI model defenses, gave a very telling quote to the press. He said, and I'm quoting here, "We did not feel comfortable releasing this generally. We think that there's a long way to go to have the appropriate safeguards."
I mean, admitting that the safeguards for your finished product simply do not exist yet.
Yeah.
That is a sobering reality check coming from a major tech executive.
It really is.
But the reality of their strategy is, well, it's far more complex than just locking Mythos in a server room and unplugging it. They're basically operating this highly exclusive, closed-door triage operation.
Right, and this is where I start to get a little uncomfortable, because they aren't releasing Mythos to the public, obviously, but they are giving early access to a highly curated VIP list of major tech giants.
They are.
We are talking about Amazon, Apple, Cisco, Google, Microsoft, JP Morgan Chase, NVIDIA. I mean, essentially the wealthiest corporations on the planet.
The biggest players, yeah.
And the stated goal is to let these companies use Mythos to find the bugs in their own software and patch their defenses before the AI is eventually released.
You also have to include the Linux Foundation in that list, though.
Oh, right, Linux.
Which completely recontextualizes what Anthropic is trying to achieve here. Because Linux isn't a massive for-profit tech corporation.
No, it's open source.
Right, it's an open source operating system. But it is the operating system that quietly powers the vast majority of the modern world.
Right.
It runs Android phones, it runs global supercomputers, it runs the financial exchanges, and it runs the servers that host everything from your emails to your streaming services.
Okay, I understand the importance of Linux, but I have to push back on this broader corporate narrative a bit.
Okay, so let's hear it.
Because it sounds fantastic on paper, right? Anthropic is playing the good guys, giving the cure to the doctors first. But are we really supposed to just trust them and applaud a secretive beta test where the richest companies in the world get this massive head start on the most powerful technology ever created?
I see what you're saying.
Well, you know, independent security researchers and the rest of the public are kept entirely in the dark. Like, isn't this basically a digital protection racket? They get to choose who gets the armor and who gets left exposed.
Well, it absolutely looks like a consolidation of power, and it's a tension that independent security researchers are highly critical of right now, understandably so.
Yeah, they're not happy.
But if we look at the actual mechanics of internet infrastructure, it kind of explains the harsh pragmatism of Anthropic's choice. Like, in cybersecurity, there's a fundamental concept called responsible disclosure.
Right.
You have to patch the vault before you publish the blueprint of how to break into it.
But usually, responsible disclosure involves a researcher finding, like, one bug,
Exactly.
telling the company, and giving them 90 days to fix it before they go public with the flaw. We are talking about thousands of bugs simultaneously.
Precisely why the traditional model of disclosure breaks down here. I mean, if Anthropic made Mythos public today, independent researchers would undoubtedly use it to find and report bugs.
No.
But hostile nation states and ransomware syndicates would use it simultaneously.
And they don't wait 90 days.
They don't wait at all. And in cyber warfare, breaking something is always exponentially faster than fixing it.
Right.
Creating a patch, testing it so it doesn't crash the entire system, and then deploying that patch to billions of devices.
That takes a ton of time.
It takes months. So Anthropic knows that if they release this globally, the attackers will win the sprint.
Right.
By selecting companies like Amazon, Apple, and the Linux Foundation, Anthropic is really trying to patch the underlying bedrock of the internet. Because protecting Amazon Web Services is protecting the thousands of small businesses and hospitals whose data is hosted on those servers.
Okay, so they are trying to reinforce the concrete foundation of the digital world before they unleash the earthquake.
That's exactly it.
But how does that even work practically? If Mythos is so dangerous, how is Anthropic sharing it with Apple or Cisco without the risk of the model escaping or, the vulnerabilities it finds leaking out?
Yeah, so they aren't just handing these companies a login portal or like a USB drive.
Right. That would be disastrous.
This involves deeply controlled sandboxed environments. The AI is likely deployed in isolated air-gapped network enclaves where it can analyze a company's proprietary code without ever connecting to the broader internet.
Oh, I see.
So the companies can observe the AI's logic, they see the flaws it identifies, and they write the patches internally. It is a highly monitored quarantine zone.
Wow. So it is essentially a desperate head start. They are giving the architects a few weeks or months to reinforce the walls before the battering ram becomes public knowledge.
A desperate head start is exactly what it is.
And this embargo, this desperate need for a head start, it reveals a pretty uncomfortable truth about our digital security right now.
Yeah, it does.
The good guys are losing.
They are completely outpaced. And the leaks surrounding Mythos highlight exactly how wide that gap has become.
Let's talk about that Fortune leak from last month.
Yeah, that was huge.
It was a leaked internal blog post previewing Mythos' capabilities, and it claimed the model was, quote, far ahead of anything else on the market.
Right.
But the chilling part was a line stating that Mythos presages an upcoming wave of models that can exploit vulnerabilities in ways that far outpace the efforts of defenders.
Yeah, that line really sent shockwaves.
Now, CNN noted that some experts felt the panic from that specific leak might be slightly overblown, but they all agreed on the underlying premise. Barring a major paradigm shift, AI is going to widen the gap between attackers and defenders.
Yeah, and that gap is driven by what we call the defender's dilemma.
Okay, what's that?
It is the defining rule of asymmetrical warfare. So if you are defending a fortress, you have to secure every single window, every door, every microscopic crack in the masonry.
Right.
You have to be perfect 100% of the time. But if you are the attacker, you only have to find one single open window to compromise the entire system. You only have to be right once.
Wow. And when you hand the attacker an AI like Mythos, our omniscient building inspector,
Yeah.
finding that one open window takes seconds instead of years. So the attacker's job scales infinitely while the defender is still stuck manually checking the locks.
Exactly. And that is why the cybersecurity industry is realizing that human manual labor is just no longer sufficient to secure a network. The reporting brought up Gadi Evron, the founder of an AI security firm called Gnostic.
Oh, right, the Gnostic guy.
Yeah, and security researchers like him have actually been using earlier, less powerful versions of Anthropic's models since late last year.
Just to help generate fixes for software flaws.
Exactly, to try and automate the defense.
His perspective on the arrival of Mythos is incredibly sobering, though. Evron said, unlike attackers, defenders don't yet have AI capabilities accelerating them to the same degree. However, the attack capabilities are available to attackers and defenders both, and defenders must use them if they're to keep up.
Evron is pointing to a terrifying treadmill that the world is now forced to run on.
Yeah.
We have officially entered an era of machine-to-machine warfare on our networks. I mean, the only way to survive an AI attacker that operates the speed of thought is to build an even faster, more comprehensive AI defender that can patch the network in real time.
So what does this all mean for you? If I'm putting myself in the shoes of the person listening to this right now,
Right.
someone who just wants to know their bank account is secure, their medical records are private, their emails aren't being scraped.
The basics, yeah.
It sounds like the human defenders protecting our digital lives are essentially bringing a pocket calculator to a supercomputer fight. We are relying entirely on AI to fight AI.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, they are fundamentally outgunned. The paradigm of human-driven security is over. And I really want to look back at the quote from Logan Graham at Anthropic, because it serves as the thesis for this entire situation.
Go ahead.
He said, if models are going to be this good, and probably much better than this, at all cybersecurity tasks, we need to prepare pretty fast. The world is very different now if these model capabilities are going to be in our lives.
The world is very different now.
Notice his phrasing there. He is not talking about some dystopian future 10 years down the line. He's stating that the present reality has already shifted under our feet.
That is a heavy sentence to digest. We are no longer living in a world where a clever human hacker sitting in a basement is the apex predator of the internet.
Not anymore.
The apex predator is now an untiring, highly intelligent algorithm that can see every microscopic flaw in the digital concrete we've built our modern society upon.
Which is exactly why this closed-door alliance between Anthropic and the major tech platforms is happening right now. It is a triage operation to fortify that concrete before the inevitable happens.
Okay, let's summarize the core takeaways of what we have unpacked today. For you, the listener, the knowledge you need to walk away with is pretty clear. The massive tech platforms, the banking systems, the operating systems you interact with every single day, they are currently engaged in a secret, desperate sprint.
Yeah.
They are using this unreleased AI model, Mythos, in isolated environments to blindly patch their systems. They're trying to reinforce their digital walls, hoping to finish the job before this exact same AI technology falls into the hands of people who want to break those walls down.
And it's a highly precarious balancing act.
Yeah.
And it relies entirely on the discretion and the ethics of the centralized corporate entity that built the weapon. Like, and Anthropic has a CEO, they have a board of directors, they have shareholders.
Right.
They can make the choice to hit the brakes. They can choose to restrict access to a VIP list of defenders.
But that implies a level of control that might just be like an illusion in the grand scheme of things.
Precisely. Which leads to a crucial and perhaps even more concerning thought for you to mull over as we wrap up today.
Okay.
The artificial intelligence industry is not just made up of centralized companies like Anthropic or Google or OpenAI. There is a massive, thriving open source movement.
Oh, right.
These are decentralized communities of developers who build incredibly powerful AI models, and then they release the underlying code freely to the public for anyone to download, modify, and run on their own hardware.
Oh, wow. So Anthropic is holding back Mythos today. But what happens a year from now or 2 years from now when an open source AI model inevitably reaches the exact same terrifying capabilities as Mythos?
That is the ultimate question. An open source model cannot be contained. It cannot be embargoed by a corporate board, and its access certainly cannot be restricted to a VIP list of tech giants.
No, it's just out there.
When the master key is published on the open internet for literally anyone to download for free who plays defense then,
It brings us right back to the locksmiths and the burglars. Except in that scenario, the burglars don't just have the master key. They have the open source blueprints to build the factory that makes them.
exactly.
It is a chilling thought, and the way the tech industry navigates that open source horizon is going to define the next decade of our digital lives. We want to thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive today. We know it is a heavy topic, but understanding the mechanics of this landscape is the absolute first step to navigating it. Keep asking questions, keep looking at how the technology works, and we will be right here to unpack the next big shift with you.